Hello, and welcome to Wyverns Weirdos Fathomless, D&D Podcast set in the world of Fierlor. I'm your Dungeon Master Darby, and joining me as always are Eddie playing 𝘊𝘐𝘁, Mitch playing 𝘧𝘀, Joe playing 𝘚𝑙ton, Laura playing 𝗔𝗯𝑇, and Jake playing Fishman. Let's jump into it. So, where we last left off, the party spent some time at sea and made their way traveling for the day, and things went mostly smoothly. There were conversations had, but it wasn't until the senior officers had sat down to a dinner/briefing that the conditions outside started to change. And upon investigating the changing conditions, the senior officers found that lightning elemental and two air elementals were besieging their ship as potentially weird magical offshoots. And we had started on combat, and we were about a round in, and the junior officers who weren't already working have come up to the deck, and we get back to the top of initiative, which is the lightning bolt, which is going to, let's see, so judging by this position of it, yeah, can I get, how long is this thing? It does 100 feet, yeah, that covers. Can I get 𝘚𝑙ton, 𝗔𝗯𝑇, 𝘊𝘐𝑁, and I will roll for still learning junior officers' names, but it is 𝘐𝑴𝑅. So I'll roll for 𝘐𝑴𝑅, but yeah, so 𝘊𝘐, 𝗔𝗯𝑇, 𝘚𝑙ton, please roll me a dexterity saving throw.
It's pronounced 𝘐𝑴𝑅, but yeah.
𝘐𝑴𝑅?
𝘐𝑴𝑅, yep.
Yeah.
Perfect.
19.
19. Okay, that is a success.
What, which save was this?
Dexterity.
𝘚𝑙ton got an 11.
Oh, that is a failure. 𝘊𝘐?
That's fine, 𝘚𝑙ton, because 𝘊𝘐 rolled a 1, which makes it a 4.
We're in danger.
And 𝘐𝑴𝑅 rolled what? Blood Hunters, yeah, rolled like 13. Something like that, which is also a failure. So 𝗔𝗯𝑇 is going to take half damage. So 𝗔𝗯𝑇, you're going to take 11 points of lightning damage. 𝘊𝘐,
Okay.
𝘚𝑙ton, and 𝘐𝑴𝑅 are each going to take 23 points of lightning damage.
𝘚𝑙ton's unconscious.
Alright. Next is 𝘊𝘐.
So... 𝘊𝘐, he... Do we get knocked prone by what just happened
no.
at all, or...?
No. Just a lightning running its way through you.
Yeah, so 𝘊𝘐 kind of tenses up in pain, and then just keels over a little bit, and he pants, And then he calls out, are all of the junior officers on deck?
Yes.
Yeah. He calls out and he says, Sia, get Alton back on, get Alton back with us. And is he still technically, I've forgotten the word, I don't know why.
Engaged, flanking.
Flanking, thank you.
Yes.
Is he still flanking the lightning guy? Wonderful.
Yes,
Awesome. So he is going to attack again with his 𝘬𝘭𝘂 𝗪𝘓. And that probably isn't going to do it with a 12.
That is not going to do it, unfortunately.
Which is fine, because as he goes to take his second swing, he's going to use one of his superiority dice to call out to Alton, and he's like, Alton, lad, on your feet. Come on, you can do it. And with his bonus action, he gives Alton temp HP of 8 hit points.
Now, I will allow you to take this back. Temp HP. I will double check this, but I don't think temp HP can bring you up if you're already unconscious.
Will Alton still have that temp HP if Alton is healed by another party, though?
I'd say yes.
Cool.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
Well, look it up anyway, because if he's up, wonderful. But if not, he'll get 8 temp HP from that. And the second attack with the 𝘬𝘭𝘂, and once again one-handed, so he slashes the first one. He kind of misses it as his thoughts are with Alton and the fact that Alton's been downed. But after he calls out his commands to Sia, he slashes back upwards, and that's a nat 20.
Nice. Okay, so max on the dice
would be 15. Would be
Plus.
max because it was one-handed.
plus. Plus standard roll doesn't even matter because that's going to be enough to take it
I'm gonna
out.
roll it anyway.
Yeah.
It's only another 10.
Okay, that's still 25 damage.
Perfect.
Okay, so
And whereabouts are the air elementals situated?
so one is up on the front crow's nest. The other one is right at the door towards your quarters and the war room.
Yeah. Are any of them engaged with or close to allies?
The one by the door is close-ish, but not enough to be engaged with Janice. And technically, with a door in the way, Neris. And then the one in the crow's nest too high up to really be engaged with anyone because it's already knocked Fishman down.
Yeah, perfect. Well, he'll go for the one that he can reach. He's not going to attack it because he's used his attacks, but he's going to use his movement to get to that guy. And if it's possible to flank. If not, he'll just be there.
Yeah.
And
So
he's used
no
his...
action surge?
Oh, maybe. I forgot that's a thing that I can do. Thank you. Action surge gives me a whole full action again, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yes, he's going to action surge. Oh, why have I not been playing fighters my entire life? It's a perfect class for me. Yeah, so he's going to action surge. And as he is sprinting on all fours over, he's going to use his bonus action to second wind. So let me get out a d10. The issue with my current setup is I can't have all my dice out at once. That's not a huge amount, but that's he gains 8 hit points, which is not nothing.
No.
And then he stands back up next to this fella. And he's going to two-handed attack twice with the 𝘙𝘭𝘁 𝗪𝘓. So I will... And he's not flanking or anything, is he?
No.
No, yeah. Perfect. So one of them is a 16 to hit.
16 hits?
Yeah, perfect. The other one's definitely going to hit because that's a 26.
Yep, so both hit.
So we've got 6 points of damage and then another 13. So 19 points of damage to the air elemental.
All right. Not too shabby. It is
I believe that's
though.
everything. Yeah, that's fair.
Roll to see if it gets its whirlwind back. It does. So it is going to... Yeah, it's going to move into your space and try to get you into a whirlwind. Can you roll me a strength saving throw, please?
Yeah, I can.
You should have
that's
this.
a 21. Yeah.
21, yeah,
He's
that
a
is
strong
fine.
little boy. He's so strong. So little and so compact.
Yeah. So you still take some damage, but you aren't flung away or knocked prone. So you will take 6 points of bludgeoning damage as you are buffeted by this living wind around you.
And just for clarification, and feel free not to answer this, but what about do our junior officers sit in initiative? Were they just after the captain still, or are they individual initiatives?
They will be they'll just simply be at the end of the initiative order.
Cool.
Perfect. Alright, the other air elemental is going to continue the job it was on. I'm going to roll for... Does it get it? This one doesn't get its whirlwind back. I'm just going to come here into Fishman's base and is going to try 2 slam attacks. That's a 27 for the first one, and that is a 16 for the second, which I believe just misses.
Yep.
Okay, so the first is... I'm just going to click the damage on here. So that is 16 points of bludgeoning damage you take as this air slams into you. And it's your go. You want to retaliate.
How shaky is it looking?
Not shaky yet.
And is there anyone coming around to pick up Alton? Is Alton still like right next to Fishman?
He is.
Yeah. I've like spent all this time thinking about what the hell I do, and I still got no idea. All right, so let's go with okay. With his wisdom, would he happen to know if air elementals rely on sight?
Roll me an Arcana.
Probably wouldn't work anyways, but sure. 12.
You're not aware of basic elementals such as this one appears to be having any sort of extrasensory sight. You're not exactly an expert in the visual abilities of these creatures, so
yeah, no,
not 100%.
Fine. He's not one to let a teammate die, so he will, if he can he please do a medicine check on our good friend here.
Okay.
Alton.
All right. Now, do you have a medicine kit, or is this just to stabilize?
Just to stabilize, but let me see if I've got anything. I have a mess kit. I take it there's quite a mess.
No.
I'm cleaning it up, technically.
No, the mess kit is your cutlery and crockery.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep,
so
cool. Just to stabilize then, I guess.
Medicine check to stabilize.
Yep.
All right.
So that is a... Oh, that's very nice. I'm going to use my inspiration on that one. Because that was actually not nice. So, can I please get a better roll? Much better. 25 with a natural 20.
Okay, so Alton, you are stabilized.
Excellente. And can he please use a bonus action to cast 𝘬𝘭𝘭𝘪𝘁? 𝘬𝘭𝘭𝘪𝘁.
I'm not entirely sure what the pronunciation is. But yes, you can.
But yeah, he will take out basically a stick with a bulbous end on it, and he's going to run his hand along the bottom of the ship to collect some water on his hands and run it along the length of the stick, and then it starts to glow a little bit with like a magical aura, and yeah, he'll basically stand in front of Alton, maybe to the side a little bit as well. No, actually no, he'll stand in front of Alton, and yeah, just get ready.
All right. Next is Janice.
Okay. So Lightning Boy in front of us is gone. He's been yeeted by a wonderful captain. And there's a bunch of air elementals, and also Alton is unconscious. Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
You
cool.
are, with the position of that air elemental, you are technically engaged with it. Or it is engaged with you. You have yet to turn to face it.
That's annoying.
And Tibble is in the middle of it.
Oh, okay. That's annoying. All right. All right. Well then, Janice kind of like looks like kind of like from Alton, and kind of like some like white energy kind of like sparks around his fingers, but then he looks to the fact that Tibble's trapped in this air elemental, and the fact that like Fishman has made a lot of effort to kind of like protect Alton. He's like, hang in there, make sure it doesn't get hit. I'll get over there if I can, Captain. And then Janice kind of like shifts his stance and kind of like braces himself a bit, and then just kind of he will strike down on the air elemental, I guess. Can I do anything with my bonus action? I don't think I can, so that's fine. Oh, can I do that? Sorry, just a moment. Okay, cool. All right. All right, I'll do that afterwards. Okay, cool. So first off, I'm going to attack the windy boy.
Yeah.
Cool. I'm assuming that will hit because it's a natural 17s plus 8. So yeah, that hits. Cool. And Janice is going to yeah. So cool. So it's a D10. Okay, so 10 points of slashing damage on the windy boy.
Nice.
And as a bonus action, he looks over to one of the other elementals, and he calls out, may 𝘊𝘭𝘪𝘁 its many-mouthed vengeance upon you. And I like, as a bonus action, a kind of like tentacle kind of rises up out of the water from like the side of the ship, with kind of like crackling with the same lightning energy that that Janice commands, and is swirling around him. And that's so it's summoning a tentacle of the deep. As my bonus action, and I can't remember if it attacks as well. Oh yeah, okay. Summon. It's just summoned. Okay.
10-foot long tentacle at a point you can see within 60 feet of you.
Yeah. So it's just summoned. I don't get to attack yet. Oh well. All right. Oh no! When you create the tentacle. Okay.
Yeah.
I do a melee spell attack against one creature.
This is technically too big, but I have this.
Excellent. Okay, so I'm going to do a melee spell attack on the other creature, the elemental. Cool. Hang on, sorry. So that's so it's a +5. Cool. So that would be a 15 to hit. Does that hit?
15 just hits.
Okay,
AC
cool.
Exactly.
So the tentacle thief is 1d8 cold damage.
All right.
Cool, that's an 8. So 8 points of cold damage, and its speed is reduced by 10 feet.
All right.
So now there's technically a giant tentacle kind of rearing out of there, attacking one of the Windy Boys, and Janus is facing the one that has Tibble.
Okay.
That's the end of my moves.
All right. Next is Alton, who is stabilized. You're fine. Neris.
Yes, there's a lot happening at the moment. So there is an air elemental just outside the door that I'm at.
Yeah, it's a bit further from the door since last you looked.
Excellent, that's good. Neris has been, like the true champion, he is cowering in fear. And there's another air elemental up the other end of the ship, is that correct?
No, the other air elemental is basically above you.
And that's all there is? There's just the 2 air elementals?
Yes.
Okay. Well, this is problematic. I don't like them being here. I do, however, remember a long time ago, he's monologuing to himself. There was a time where there was a door separating myself and an enemy. I did prevail there, so I may have to try that again. And he pulls out from his little satchel bag, he pulls out 2 items. The first one is his divining orb, which he is not, he always carries with him, but he's never really taken it out before. It's a perfectly cylindrical orb of crystal. Sort of like
I believe you mean?
That one, yes. And it's got sort of like a smoky vibe to it. And the second one that he pulls out, and he holds it sort of at a little bit of a distance from himself, like he's dangerous about how much this can, what the potential of this particular second item is. And it's a tiny little bell that he's going to get down on all fours, look out from underneath the little crack. He's going to look at the air elemental's little toesies, and he's just going to ring the bell once, and he's going to cast Toll the Dead on this creature.
Okay, so that's a wisdom save.
That is a wisdom saving throw, which I can tell you right now he rolls a 3.
Okay. Yep.
As Neris has gotten down on all fours, and he's like kind of creeping in a way just underneath this door, and just to sort of like see if this creature does react to any external stimuli, he's just going to sort of just blow underneath the door, and seeing like a little bit of a wisp from underneath, he's like, this will work fine. Ding, ding, ding. And he will ring the bell. This creature has taken any damage as of yet? It has. Perfect. That is... I don't get any bonuses to that, do I?
No.
13 points of damage.
13. Alright. Okay.
As a bell rings out, a single gong, but not like a deep bell or anything, like just a literal, just tiny little bell. You just hear it muted from underneath the door, and then you just, from a little porthole, you just see Neris's head just stick up and look to see if it did anything.
Okay. Anything with the bonus action?
Mildly panic.
Okay. So, who have we got as far as NPCs? So Floret Nison's going to stay in position. Bones is going to get down. That's basically going to be their go. So, Floret and probably. Hare's probably going to duck behind the post and use a ranged weapon, considering they are hurt. While Floret is probably going to try to get into the fray a bit. And is going to get to do an attack quickly. That's not going to hit. Others are all going to... So, the others are basically a druid, a cleric, and a bard. They are going to... Can any of them... Who's besides Alton, who is really hurting right now? Fishman?
Tibble's under half.
Yeah,
Okay.
I wouldn't say he's the... Fishman isn't the worst, I'd say.
Okay.
I thought you meant literally who is beside who is beside Alton. That's why I was like,
Okay.
me?
Okay, so just Tibble and Alton?
Yep.
Okay. So, Tibble, you're going to take a quick healing word, which will be 4 hit points regained. Alton, you're going to take 2, which will be 6 and 3.
Thank you.
And you got that 8 temp.
8 as well.
Don't forget.
Yes.
Yep.
Thank you. Excellent.
Alright. And back to the top of initiative. And Tibble, now that you have deposed that lightning, you are atop of initiative. You are surrounded
That's right.
by elemental living wind.
Is he able to get out of that? Does he need to do a strength
No, you
something
just-
to do,
you
or can he
have
just
to
step out of it?
You can just step out of it.
Yeah, wonderful. Sorry, is there like, was it Janice who had sort of stepped up to be near there?
Yeah. Janice is near there, as is Florid.
Cool. Can he flank with one of them?
Yeah. Yes.
Wonderful. So he's going to do that. And he's going to attack with the Starseer. Let's go one-handed for this first attack. That's a 10. I doubt that's going to hit.
No, it will not.
No. Okay. Sorry, I'm just doing a very quick look over. He is going to use another one of his superiority dice. It doesn't stack, does it? 10 HP.
No.
Yeah, okay. Then
you could replace it if it is higher, but you just take the higher source.
no, that is absolutely fine. I thought I had more maneuvers than I appear to. Oh, no, I do. Okay. Cool. He's also going to use a superiority die to do a distracting strike with his second attack. Cool. So that is whatever an 18 plus 8 is.
Yeah, definitely enough.
And that was once again one-handed. So we've got 6 plus 7 is 13, plus his superiority dice for the damage, which is 14, 15, 16, 17. And the next attack on him is at advantage as long as it's before Tibble's next go.
All right. This elemental's looking shaky.
Cool. And that's the end of Tibble's go.
Yeah, as it is back to its go. That is cocked. Recharge. It does not recharge. So it is just going to slam. It's going to go one slam on 𝘵𝘁, one slam on 𝗓𝘗𝘶. Out of the tray, so reroll. The one on 𝘵𝘁 is a 19 to hit. The one on 𝗓𝘗𝘶 is a 15 to hit.
Meets his AC, so it hits.
Okay.
Yeah, hits 𝘵𝘁 as well.
So 𝘵𝘁, you take 14 points of bludgeoning damage. 𝗓𝘗𝘶, you take 14 as well. Different numbers on the dice, but same total.
All right.
And then the other elemental is gonna go for 2 slams against Fishman. That's not gonna do it. And that's not gonna do it. So both of these slams miss. Oh, forgot to check. It didn't get its whirlwind back anyway. Fishman, it's your go.
All right. So, Alton is, I guess he can see that Alton's doing a little bit better now. It's good. So, he will see if he can try and do some damage, fingers crossed. So, first off, he's going to use Planar Warrior again, bonus action.
Yeah.
And then he's going to go and club this guy a little bit. So, yeah, he'll try and do that.
Okay, roll to hit.
All right. So, that is a 15 for the first one.
That just hits.
That's excellent news. So that is minimum damage. So that's 6 force damage, but an additional D8, which is 6. So a total of what would that be? 12?
12 damage for your first
and
attack.
then second attack. 26 to hit, which I know hits.
Yeah, it certainly hits.
Now I believe I'll have to double check how Planar Warrior works, but I think that's now expended. So it'll be 12 bludgeoning damage, but it's still magical due to Shillelagh.
It's just the once. Yes.
Yeah. So that's 12 again. 12 for the second one. So 24 all up of magical damage.
Yeah. That
and
air
that's
elemental is shaky.
Excellente. Yeah, cool. And yeah, he'll just keep on standing in front of Alton until Alton's up.
All right. Janice, you'll go.
Okay. So just double checking, Alton's still unconscious, yeah?
No, Alton is conscious.
Oh, it's up now. Cool. Sorry,
Yes.
my brain just blipped for a moment, majorly.
Yeah, couple of crewmates with some healing words.
Awesome. Good job, everyone. Okay, let's pull in the clothes. We have them on their backs, sort of, figuratively speaking. I don't know if they have backs. Anyway, let's go. And he kind of like spins his glaive around and so what he does is he is going to cool. So yes, he's going to attack.
Yep.
Sorry. Cool. That is a natural 20. So I will take photo of that.
I was going to say, don't forget you get advantage, but...
True. Let's see, just in case. No, the other one was 11.
I was going to say, if it's a double nat 20, Darby, just kill it. Just let it die.
Yeah, it just dies. All of them die. Cool. So, I mean, it's only his glaive. So it does D10 plus 5, so 15 points damage plus... that's 5 plus 5 plus 10 points of damage. So 25 points of damage with the nat 20.
Is that including, because you're raging, is that including your extra rage bonus?
No, I forgot about that. So it's plus 2. So yeah.
Yeah. So accounting for, I think there's been a couple of times you've forgotten to add, forgotten to add that.
I'm gonna add that to my little board.
That'll be that. Like, the reason I asked specifically is because it's so close that that's gonna take it out.
Excellent. And so again, even though like there's lightning that just generates around Janus, like just above his head, just crackles down through this thing, as it dissipates into nothingness.
You get a bit of leniency for a new campaign.
Thank you. And then he kind of like sort of like just power fists his hand up in the air, and the tentacle sort of like will then slam down on the other elemental that's nearby, and it's a D8 of cold damage. So 5 points of cold damage.
All right.
It's just like, you know, slams into it, and just like this cracking noise as ice tries to ice it over, and then just shakes off the whirlwind that it is. And he's like, quick, we can close it in.
All right. Alton, your go.
Yeah, so he comes back to consciousness, and he kind of looks very startled, and he, like, with the sensation and everything. He kind of whips around, just checking his surroundings. He's like, all right. Stands up with half his movement and draws his pistols. So I'm going to aim at probably the air elemental. Which one's closer down?
The one that's pretty much... There is only one air elemental left.
Oh, yep.
Janice just took out the other one.
Oh, he took it out. Okay. Very cool. Okay, so Alton's going to fire 3 shots at the air elemental, and I'm going to put... he's going to fiddle with the settings of his pistol, so I'm going to put a charge of fire damage into the first shot.
Nice.
So that's a 22 to hit.
Certainly hits.
Excellent. That's 10 points of piercing damage and 1 point of fire damage.
Every little bit helps.
Yeah. All right. Second shot. That is a 23 to hit.
23 also certainly hits.
That's just standard 10 points of piercing damage.
Yep.
And one last hit with his offhand. That's a 28 to hit.
28 certainly hits. Now don't add the dex.
Yeah, just the 1d10. Nice, that's 8 points of damage.
8. It is looking really shaky. You could action surge to finish it off if you would like. It's that close.
Sure, well, it hit down to him, so, alright, action surge.
Yeah.
Another round, that's an 18 to hit.
Yeah, certainly hits.
Fantastic. And that's 14 points of piercing damage.
14, yeah, and that final air elemental is dispersed. And we are out of initiative.
Oh, nasty little things.
Well, that sure was a little bit of excitement. And Tybalt's kind of killed over a little bit. He looks a little bit battered, a little bit bruised.
Janice kind of like barks some kind of like words in like a very strange language that probably none of you guys know how to speak. And sounds very Cthulhuid. And he kind of like the tentacle kind of like tries to sort of like write some stuff on the ship, and then it kind of just slithers back down into the water. And then he immediately kind of looks around and just like pulls out the whistle and just like makes a couple of like sharp little toots on his like whistle while this is happening, to try and like, which are like signals for like some of the other crewmates to like come into him, and then they're going to go and like quickly assess how everything's going, and also presumably steer the ship and all that kind of stuff, or try and like reinforce a lot of stuff. So he's doing all that in the background immediately the second the combat's done.
All right.
Is everyone all right? Tybalt calls out. He's calling out to all of the crew, not just the senior officers.
You get positive like confirmations from most of the junior officers. Care is a little dinged up, but they'll be fine.
Care, Alton, Sia, with me, please.
Yep.
And Neris, if you could come out here too as well.
So there is no response from behind the door. And 𝘨𝑒𝑟𝑒𝑠's head has also disappeared from the door, from the little window.
Gods. That's all right. We'll go to him. And 𝘠𝑦𝑚, like, he is he's clearly quite injured. He's also a little bit queer, but he's clearly quite injured. But he sort of shifts himself forward, and he isn't walking on all fours. He is clearly a little bit dinged up in like his left arm, and he's dragging his leg a little bit, but he's fine. And he makes his way to the war room.
Yeah.
And he calls out, he's like, everyone do what you need to. Senior officers, once you get done, back to the war room. And he takes 𝘬𝘭𝘭𝘪𝘤, 𝘬𝘭𝘭𝘪𝘤, and 𝘬𝘭𝑡𝑒𝑛 into the war room.
Post haste, Captain. We'll be there.
Yeah. Once he gets to the door, he does knock on it, like rap on it. Kara, 𝘨𝑒𝑟𝑒𝑠, is everything all right?
So, there's no response from 𝘨𝑒𝑟𝑒𝑠.
I doubt there would be a response from Kara.
I would assume there wouldn't be a response from Kara. Kara would see 𝘨𝑒𝑟𝑒𝑠. As soon as 𝘨𝑒𝑟𝑒𝑠 has noticed there's no other enemies in the immediate vicinity, 𝘨𝑒𝑟𝑒𝑠 has backed fully away from the door, leaving the bell at the door, and has just kind of sat down and just is opening and closing his fists a little bit. And as soon as there is a knock at the door, 𝘨𝑒𝑟𝑒𝑠 will kind of straighten up in a little bit of a jolt, lightning, but he'll quickly sign without speaking to Kara, essentially apologies, and he'll return to the war room in just a minute. And there is a slight puff, and 𝘨𝑒𝑟𝑒𝑠 vanishes.
Kara, like, she goes to start signing something, but then when 𝘨𝑒𝑟𝑒𝑠 disappears, she just sort of bows her head and nods a bit, and she goes to the door to open it for 𝘠𝑦𝑚 and 𝘬𝘭𝑡𝑒𝑛 and 𝘬𝘭𝑟 and 𝘬𝑎. And as she opens it, she signs something quick. 𝘬𝘭𝑡𝑒𝑛, with your knowledge of sign, you'd probably pick up maybe a few words. So you'd pick up worried, okay, needs time, will find. And Tibble just nods at Kara, and she gives him like a once over, and starts fretting at some of his wounds. And you see him kind of wave her off, and sort of reach up on his tippy toes and just stroke at her face a little bit and press his forehead to hers. And then he signs something quickly. And you completely understand it because it's quite a simple phrase, but it's just, I'm fine, love. Something worry. And Kara gives you 𝘬𝑎 and 𝘬𝑟 a nod and goes past you all past everyone out onto the deck. And Tibble would bring everyone into the war room. Everyone who was present into the war room. Was anyone else doing something before anything? What's Fishman doing?
He's using his mess kit to clean up the mess. He plummeted from the crow's nest. He had a dying ally, which he haphazardly tried to stabilize. And the rain has kind of washed it around everywhere. So he'll do a little bit of cleaning up and then patch himself up as best he can with some very, very, very vulgar first aid methods, and then just make his way back downstairs.
Does he look like does he visibly look like he's beaten up, injured?
Oh, yes. Yes.
Okay. Tibble would have also called him to come through as well. Then.
Yeah, cool. Well, he would have done that and then he would have come down a little bit delayed.
Yeah. So once Fishman enters the room, Tibble's like, all right. Well, Sia, no, you haven't didn't take any hits, but our other healer has. I'm a wee bit injured, and I think everyone is, and in this room, and this isn't my area of expertise. Alton, I know you're injured at the moment. How would you like Sia to assess the wounds, or how are you feeling? Are you okay?
Immediately looks like he just immediately tenses up at this and like glares daggers at Sia and is like, no, of course not. I am fully capable of healing myself, but as a good medic, I will make sure that everyone else is fine first. Your injuries look quite bad, Captain.
Hey, lad, got knocked around a bit, but it comes with the territory.
It's nothing to turn your nose up against. It's something that you've got to get sorted immediately.
Yes,
I'll be able to do so.
I'd much appreciate your skilled hand in this. Sia, if you can look to care in the meantime, that'd be appreciated.
Of course. Captain.
If you can both work together on this, get everyone back up to scratch, I'm sure everyone will be okay in the morning. If that's fine.
Of course.
I know you both have different methods, but maybe combining them might help.
Yes, I suppose magical healing has its uses at times.
I do wish Neris was here. I was going to ask him what he knew about storms like this. I haven't seen one in a long while. He's a bright lad, that one.
Does have that magical knowledge, I suppose. Can't say I've ever seen something like this.
I've seen it once or twice, but I just want to make sure it's nothing more, you know? He kind of, he looks away a little bit. He seems a bit more serious than you would usually see him, but he looks to the side and he sees the mutton stew up on the table, and he sees that some of it's been like a little bit scattered just in the rocking and the excitement. He's like, it was such a beautiful meal Carp prepared too. No, this isn't going to ruin my night. I won't let it ruin anyone else's. Patch me up and I'll... Well, help. I'll find Cara and ask her very nicely if she can fix something quickly. Like some bread and cheese.
Of course, we've always got plenty of the simple things in the kitchen.
Think it might be the evening for a nice brandy.
Okay.
Thank you, Alton. You went down there for a minute, lad. Are you all right?
Of course.
And he does say this a little bit quieter so that it's just sort of, yeah.
Alton kind of like avoids eye contact nonetheless.
Mm.
Of course, yes, I'm fine. I can assure you I will not let that happen again. That was just got the better of me. I will do better next time.
There's nothing wrong with being downed, lad. It happens. I've been downed many a times before. It's the getting back up. And you did. And I appreciate your help now, but just sometimes getting up is a struggle, so let me know.
No, tell me about it. But yes, you can rest assured I will learn better from this. And he gives you 15 points of healing.
Thank you, lad. I'm feeling much better. Maybe you can see the fish man.
Good, of course. And he will just nod and then turn to Fishman. And then I cannot give Fishman any HP because I've already given him HP.
Fishman does like try to attempt to stealthily cough up blood. I'm not sure how successful that was. 12. Yeah, probably everyone noticed. He's trying not to act like he's hurt, but he's hurt.
Oh, shit. All right. Let me see. Alton's just immediately like, oh, I should have seen Fishman first. Coughing up blood. Excellent. Just medicine check him.
Falling from the crow's nest, I would not recommend it.
No, it doesn't sound very fun, no.
Followed up with being belted by wind, bludgeoned in the chest. It's not a good combo.
No, absolutely not. I wish we'd just have a peaceful day, maybe. It'd make my job a bit easier.
I'll be taking my meal to my room, and I think I'll be calling it a day.
Sounds like a good plan.
Apologies, don't mean to interrupt, but we do still need that debrief. Well, no, pre-brief. We have a mission coming up, and I would still like to talk about it if everyone has the energy.
Do we not need everyone here for that?
I did inform them to come, but I think we may just be waiting on Neris. Kara's gone to find him, but I don't know how much luck she'll have. She knows him a little better than me, but their business is their business.
Fair enough.
Okay, I'm all sorted. Are we all ready for the meeting? Shana says as he kind of bursts in and then kind of like looks around, like does like a mental head check and then just like kind of just nods and then just turns squarely to Tibble.
Janice,
Did I interrupt something?
No. We're just healing up, getting a good look over by the good doctor.
Oh, of course. Is anyone in dire need?
Good doctor, good druid, good medic.
Okay.
I think we'll be right. I mean, Fishman was coughing up some blood, but Surely that just comes with the profession, right, Alton?
I mean, unfortunately.
Janice looks at how Alton is patched up and is just like, and then just does the same thing that he did when he was president of the parlay, where he just puts his hands behind his back and is just like, well, I know my position, so this is fine. Sure, I'm sure this makes sense to someone. Then just kind of just NPCs it in the background, I guess.
I guess once Alton's done like patching up Fishman, I'll call up to John and it's like, how about you doing? You take any hits?
Oh, I took a few, but I'll be fine.
Are you sure? I mean, the way that you fight.
Well, you know, blood spilled is sort of it's something I can tough out a bit better than most, I suppose. No offense. And he winks at him.
Offense taken. But you know, blood belongs in the body.
Well,
Bad to get out of the body.
that's true. You don't know what could happen if the blood's spilled in the wrong place. No, I tend to keep most of my blood in my body, so he kind of like just sort of flexes. He's got a lot of like little burn marks from like electricity, and like he sort of, as he's like gesturing, like his hand kind of like tremors a bit. And he just sort of like puts his hand behind his back again as he does, and like, but I'm fine. How are you holding up, Doc? He kind of like looks around like conspiracy, that word, before, like puts a mock whisper, and then leans in when he says Doc, and like looks over at the other medic while he says that. Yep.
I've definitely been better. It's probably going to be one of those. Probably not a day in bed tomorrow, but it's not going to be fun.
Do you need a boost? I've only got so much shit left in me, of course, but you know, could help if you're not feeling too well. You've got to tend to everyone else.
Mm.
He kind of like again sort of reaches his hand out. It is again tremoring a little bit, but like it snaps a bit of like that white magic.
He looks at like the hand like quite suspiciously. It's like, I guess if you have it to spare.
Oh, you know, we were settling down for dinner, so what's the worst that could happen? I'm sure we won't need it now. We're steering into clearer waters now, hopefully. And he reaches his hand out and just holds it out to Alton.
Alton, I guess, holds his hand, touches his fingers against his hand.
Excellent. And Janice heals him for, oh wow, okay. That's not bad, I guess. 10 points of healing. So as he uses cure wounds, and sort of the like golden energy from his eyes kind of flickers for a moment, and sort of this warm sort of like energy pulses through into Alton's hands. And he just sort of like blinks his eyes a bit, and his eyes are a little bit less bright. And you're like, oh, there we go.
Alton just kind of looks disgusted and is like, thanks. Well, it's necessary sometimes.
No problem. Meeting, where are we having it?
The meeting will be here. We're just waiting on Kara and 𝘨. Kara's gone to find 𝘨.
Oh,
He
okay.
had to step out for a bit.
He goes back to his. Then just like kind of presses his back against the walls, and sort of like breathing a bit more heavily now as he waits.
So, 𝘨.
If you don't mind, perhaps I could assist in finding 𝘨 as well.
I was going to say it's probably because Kara, to do with what Kara has been doing, have been messaging with Mitch. It might be, it might be around now that Kara returns with 𝘨. And her and 𝘨 will probably exchange a bit of a worried glance between each other, but don't really say anything. Well, there's reasons for one of that. But 𝘨 does sign a couple of things. Those of you who understand sign would know that he's asking her if she can duck down to the kitchens and fix something quick up to make up for dinner, which she is like, of course, and goes down, and she also takes 𝘫𝘁 and 𝘫𝘁? Why did my brain go 𝘫𝘁? Sorry. 𝘐𝘎 and 𝘎𝑖𝑎 with her.
For reference regarding Neris as well, Neris has walked in as he was before in the meeting, before anything took place. He is expressionless. He is carrying, along with his satchel bag, he is carrying another probably 3 or 4 fairly thick tomes, just sort of under his shoulder, which he does walk in holding, and just kind of awkwardly shuffles his way over to a chair and plops himself down where he was before.
All right. Well, now everyone's here and back. That was good fighting. You all did very well. And Alton, I appreciate that none of us died. Thank you.
Had to do my job.
You do it well, lad. Apologies. I will try and make this quick, because I know everyone is pretty weary. Neris, just quickly before I start, have you seen any storms like this before? Or, well, even if you haven't seen them, do you know of them?
I have not seen, encountered one of these in person before, no. However, I am almost certain that someone else has, which is why I am planning on doing a lot of reading while we are all having our times, talking about the meetings and the upcoming mission. I will be perusing these texts in front of me to see what I can find out.
I appreciate it, lad. Good forward thinking. Okay. Well, as I said, I'll try and make this quick. As you would all know, we have set course already to go on our next job from the Hydra. Now, as far as I'm aware, well, it should be a pretty straightforward mission. We're there to find the explorer 𝘬𝘬𝘪, who was last seen on an expedition to Acherin, an island which is, as you would all know, in the Pathless Isles. So we have set course there. At this stage, I don't know much. However, I can let you know that 𝘬𝘬𝘪, while not within the company of the Hydra, is held quite dear to, well, one of the founders. So it is of utmost importance that we can at least try and find him alive and get him back safely. Does anyone have any questions?
No, of course not, Captain. A worthy mission.
Aye.
What are we expecting in ways of resistance?
Well, lad, I'm not too sure as far as resistance goes. Oh, actually, Darby, would Tibble know much about the Pathless Isles?
Not really. Like, Pathless Isles, there is a lot of variety in what you get from one island to the next. And there's not a lot of records kept because they're outside of the Alec Pact.
Yeah. And I'm assuming that in his sailing career, Tibble most likely either hasn't really been to the Pathless Isles or has only been there like in passing and sailing
Yeah.
through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or if you've been there for like a mission, you've probably been somewhere completely different to Akron.
I've been to other islands in the Isles on missions before, but never to Akron, so it is uncharted territories. So I guess try and be prepared for anything, but more than anything, have trust in each other and each other's abilities. Those of you that, those of you that might be so inclined to stay on the ship, please come see me. I'm sure we can try and arrange something. However, it is a mission that I would appreciate having all hands on deck with this one, as it is of importance to the Hydra. Any further thoughts or questions?
I know everything I need to know. Packless Isles too, pretty exciting. I've heard many a tale from there. Might have even been there before. I can't remember. But it should be exciting. You don't have any other leads on where the explorer might have gone? Just somewhere on Akron.
Well, I mean, the lad's missing, so if we knew where he was, it wouldn't be much of a mission, would it?
True. You're right. And then it just goes back to the same, like, hands behind his back kind of at attention kind of position. Just smiling blindly.
It'll be quite the mission. We will need brains as well as brawns, so as much as I would love to take the regular land-brawling, adventuring crew, I may need some help from some of you smarter lads. Though I do understand if there are objections to this. As I said, I am more than happy to discuss this, just perhaps not tonight.
So, unless there are further discussions to be had, you'll retire for the evening, take a long rest, and wake for another morning of sailing. As you are getting close to where your maps tell you that this island should be. Anything in particular quickly that folks do in the morning for reaching the island?
One thing with Neris, so he, not necessarily with anyone else, but he, as the meeting is adjourned, he's probably one of the first people out the door. And he will return to his study, plop himself down with the books, and sort of stop and think, and then grab maybe one or two more books from the shelves and start reading it. He's sort of going to be a little bit fidgety. Normally when he's studying, he's very incredibly focused on what he's doing. However, tonight he seems to be very distracted. He's kind of fidgeting. He's kind of adjusting his seating, trying to get himself comfortable, and he's not really, none of the words are sinking in. And he's just going to sort of go through his satchel bag and sit out his divining orb and just kind of stare at it. And just kind of hold it in front of him, just kind of watching the swirling mists that are kind of in there. And he looks down at one of the books that's open, and he sees the image of a cliff's edge with a giant storm kind of rolling and a huge bolt of lightning striking down. And at the top of the cliff's edge is a figure holding a staff, seemingly commanding this storm. And Neris is going to sort of look down at that, kind of cock his head, and think that potentially, if his books can't help him, maybe someone else will. And then he kind of shudders about that thought and ends up just kind of drifting off, and will go out, walk the deck once or twice just to sort of cool himself down, and then go to bed.
I will just note when Neris is on the decks, whether he approaches her or not, Kara will be up on the decks, and she isn't seemingly doing anything of note. It just seems like she's keeping herself busy, and this could be at any time of the night. So you might go out for a walk and she is reading under like a lip of like one of the walls of the boat up on deck, or she might be sweeping the deck, but she just seems to be awake.
Then Neris will not make any interaction with her at all until maybe 10 minutes or so of just sort of pacing up and down the deck. And as he's about to go to bed, he's just going to look over at Kara and just mime, "Thank you," and then go to bed.
She just nods at him and then just signs back, "Of course, anytime." And then just keeps reading or sweeping or whatever it is she's doing.
All right. So, as we reach the morning, is there anything people do as part of their morning's preparations?
I think probably that morning, Janus typically has a lot of things that he does in the morning. He goes over a certain amount of, like, he has to go over the different tasks with all the deck crew. He has to go and check downstairs to make sure everything's going. So he has a lot of shit to do. So normally he starts out doing a couple of stretches, getting some crunches in. But this morning he's probably in checking with Alton, not in the galley, in the wherever Alton does his the medical office, that thing. Yeah, would it have been the cook's galley?
Good question. I don't know if we have a space for that. His room, is that weird?
Closet.
There is a medical cabin.
Oh,
Excellent.
good. Which is probably not owned by Alton, but he will be there.
Yeah.
He's just like,
I will note
are they not here?
that is most likely Sia's office, I guess.
Well,
regardless, they're probably having a chat this morning.
Yes.
Well, even if Sia is standing looking uncomfortable in the corner, like, either that or it's somewhere on the deck where Janice has just ordered someone to leave because he's both so it doesn't have to be in the office, but just somewhere in private.
Yes.
With the kind of character Sia is, because she is one of my backup characters. There you go, listeners. She is very airy-fairy. So you can have a conversation around her and be almost 100% certain that she is not listening because she's thinking about something else.
Good.
In a sort of spiritual, druidic way. I'm not sure if that makes sense or translates. Maybe one day everyone will find out if Tibble dies.
So anyway, yeah, I'm just ignore Sia meditating in the corner. It's
Of course, I will.
Yes. As the true medic, so tell me, how's the hands going?
Doc, we have to stop meeting like this. As he's probably like already like holding his hand up. Alton might be looking over it. It's not too bad. Just slight, as always, you know. It's been a long time since this happened, so it eases with time sometimes. If I can be candid.
Yes, the stretch has been helping at all, or is it still?
Well, a bit, but then, you know, I've got so much to do, and there's rigging to check and repairs to be made. Luckily, there wasn't too much of damage in the storm, but you know how it is. We're definitely going to have to look into our requisitions and get some more carpentry tools for once we get to Acheron.
Yes, it never stops, does it?
But yes, been doing the stretches. Good suggestion. There's only so much magical healing can do, so and he kind of like gestures with his free hand to like where there's like the long scars along like the sides of his neck and like up across like the bridge of his nose, and then his own hand. So you know.
Tell me about it. It's yes, these kinds of injuries, they never get easier to deal with over time.
Yes.
Actually, I can assure you, I promise you, I will keep working, and maybe I'll find something that will ease it. I mean, a cure would be nice.
Yes.
I don't know if I'm smart enough for that.
I'm sure you'll get there. You're plenty enough smart.
We'll see. So, the injuries, was that related to your old shark thing?
The attack, yes.
It's the one that turned you?
Yes, when I was on an Avoran ship. Yes, guarding a king or a princess or something like that. Yes. No, it was, yes, I had to take it shortly, but that's what I met my lovely Anna, so, you know, now my days are full of smiles. I'm sure yours will be too, Alton, once you get her. Someone's dear to you?
No.
Wife, husband?
No. I
Partner?
have given up on men. It's
understandable.
He lived this
They're
long.
all bastards, really.
Yes, absolutely. No worries about that one. Glad to see that you found so much joy with your wife.
Oh, yes, absolutely. You know, just everything makes me think of her. I mean, you know, that dinner last night, it's a pity that we couldn't get it all. Cara did a fantastic job, and between you and me, I mean, I know you work very close with her, but please don't tell her. My signing is terrible, so I wouldn't even try, because I probably said on purpose, but, you know, it's almost as good as my Anna's cooking. I mean, technically, it's probably much better because she hates cooking. And in fact, set the fire to the kitchen the last time I was visiting. But, you know, there's nothing like a family meal at home. And even if you have to scrape a bit of the charcoal off, but it's fine. Meat's meat.
Certainly, yes, I can imagine.
Yes.
Sure, Cara would appreciate that.
Don't tell her, please. I'm begging you.
Sure, yes, no problems. As long as you, please stop being so reckless in combat.
And like,
not.
Jana starts to like kind of do like the little hand stretches while he's like fidgeting a little bit. It's like, it'll be fine. It'll be good. No worries at all. I promise you that, Doc. I'll do that just for you.
Good. See that you do.
Good. Well,
Excellent.
Is that all you need from me?
I think so. Let me know if anything changes. I guess if you're well enough and if you've got the time, we could do with some more fish for dinner.
Oh, yes, absolutely. I'll get right to that, actually. I can probably fit that in between the second inspection. Yes. It'll be good. Do you have any issues, any qualms with the fishy me or the bee me doing it? I can even fly or swim, you know, so it's still sort of trying to figure out what you like best, because, you know, Cara's got her preferences, but you know, lots of chefs to deal with. So, you know.
I would prefer not the shark form. The wounds in the fish are a bit like sometimes there's not much fish left.
And he kind of like stands up and does another like stretch. He's like, "I'll see what I can do for you. I'll try not to bite too hard." And he winks at Alton again.
Thank you.
and kind of like nods. All good to go?
Oh, good.
And he kind of like swaggers out again.
Okay.
That's it, does it.
Is there anyone out on the deck at the moment?
Tibble would be. He's going about his captain duties. He is checking over to make sure that the deck is not too badly damaged from last night, and just make sure the crew up there are both doing a good job and also in good spirits. So he'll be chatting and, just checking in with everyone as he's up there.
All right. So you notice, although your passive perception isn't all that.
Does he notice? Does he notice?
You notice, but pretty late into the opportunity to notice. A humanoid figure with large red bat-like wings, adorned in a dark iron suit of plate, of full plate, drifts down onto the deck of the ship.
Ah, hello there, friend. I don't
Hello.
believe we've made acquaintance before.
We have not.
Well, Captain 𝘙𝘀𝘀, captain of the Polaris, the beautiful ship you see here. And he kind of reaches his little paw up. How tall is this person?
This person is 6'4".
Yeah, okay. He reaches it up, probably up to this person's shin for a handshake.
They do not reciprocate. I'm 𝘬𝘁. Perhaps you have heard of me. Some call me 𝘬𝘁 the Mark.
Would Tibble have heard of 𝘬𝘁 the Mark?
Roll me a history check.
Why did I tie up my dice bag in the middle of a recording? No one will ever know. Maybe it's, maybe he's born with it. Maybe it's neurodivergence. History check, did you say?
Yes.
Cool. That would be an 8.
An 8. You have not heard of him.
Now, lad, I'm sure, well, need a gender-neutral pirate term. I'll think on that. Tibble will have one next week. Now, unfortunately, friend, as much as I'm sure you've got a mighty reputation amongst some circles, I can't say I have heard of you. Have you heard of me, perhaps?
No, but I have heard
Well,
of
there
your
you go. Different circles, you know? Oh, you've heard of the Polaris.
Yes. Perhaps there is another name you do know that we are both familiar with.
Oh, perhaps. What?
Stormbreaker.
Would Tibble be... Yes, he would.
Yeah.
Sorry, that was my brain playing catch up.
Mm.
Ah, yes! Me good lad Janice. Of course. You're a friend of him, are you?
You could say that.
Well, I did say that.
He is bored.
Well, I... Yes.
Would you be so kind as to bring him to me?
If you don't mind me asking, sorry, what was your name again?
𝘬𝘁.
𝘬𝘁. Apologies. If you don't mind me asking, 𝘬𝘁, what business do you have with him?
The unfinished thought. And he flicks his wrist and an orb flings out from it and creates this gate, this arcane gate, and you see 4 figures step out of it. 2 humans, one older man with a beard in robes, carrying a staff. The other younger, with resplendent red cloak, with a very refined nature to him. The other 2 figures are much more hulking. One a brutish red, almost humanoid toad-like creature, with vicious teeth and a nasty maw, and the other an ogre draped in chains.
Now, I will just, any business is unfinished business unless that business is over and done with, in which case, what's the point of having the business? You know? You catch me drift? However, I do see your point.
I am not accustomed to asking twice. You please bring me the Stormbreaker, and can I get you to roll me a wisdom saving throw?
You may get me to do that. Maybe.
As 𝘬𝘀𝘀 uses his fiendish charm upon you.
That's a 17.
17 is the DC exactly.
I'm laughing because Tibble has a -1 wisdom save. So that's miraculous for him. Does that make it?
Yeah.
No, I really don't appreciate you coming onto my ship and, well, I'm sure you're dear friends with Janice, but I really don't appreciate the way you're speaking to me on my own ship. If I can ask you to perhaps, hold on. Let me bring up the map. If you'd like, I can bring you into, well, I can bring you into our war room and you can have your meeting with him then. May I know the names of your friends? They are aboard me ship, after all.
I shall introduce you. These are Zam. He gestures to the human, the older human, and Aloysius, the other human, Zardost, the hulking red toad-like creature, and Rot, ogre.
Wonderful. Pleasure to make your acquaintance, all of you. I'll take you to our war room and bring Janice to you. That way you're not waiting up on the deck. Like, well, a bunch of decks. Just a little jest between me and you. Anyway, this way. Until kind of brings them towards the war room. It's like, I'll get you all to have a seat. I'll be with you shortly. And just one last time, just because I want to make sure that I'm getting the name across to him. Your name again, mate?
𝘬𝘀𝘀 𝘪.
𝘬𝘀𝘀 𝘪. And he brings out like a little notebook that he has just for noting down like different crew movements and different ship things. And he like scribbles that down along with the names. He's like, and what can I say the business is regarding?
He knows.
Aye, but it is business upon my ship. And I'm the captain, so I would much like to know.
It is a family matter that I wish to keep private.
Wonderful. A private family matter is all I need to know. Appreciate your cooperation. Now, can my wife bring you some tea or coffee or nibbles or anything while you wait?
Perfectly fine.
Wonderful. No water or anything? I know it's a bit salty on these seas, though I don't quite understand how you travelled here past magic and the fact you got those big old wings of yours. Beside the point, would you like some water?
No.
All right. I'll be but 5 minutes. Just appreciate your patience. And Tibble closes the door and scutters out. Is any of the other senior officers around the deck? On deck?
How early of the morn is it?
I have no idea.
Probably still quite reasonably early.
Not Fishman. He loves to sleep.
Neris would have been locked in his study since the very early hours of the morning as well.
Would Tibble have likely known of Janice's movements for the day?
I'm not actually sure because he's generally in charge of the I don't know. That's something I should have researched.
It is also reasonable that Janice and or Alton could have made their way to the deck at this point.
Yeah, I imagine he's probably making his way there. If Alton is or not, I don't know, but that's his job, so he's probably already about to stride up towards that direction.
Yeah, okay.
He has
So it wouldn't take
stuff
long.
below deck.
Along the way, because Tibble most likely just goes to start searching in the places where he would most likely think that Janice would be. And along the way, if he bumps into Kara, he does sign to her, we have guests, love. Can you get the tea and bickies ready? And she looks at him very concerned and is like, what do you mean guests? And he'd explain a little bit, and she just looks at him with this look, and he's like, what? And she's like, I'm gonna get those tea and bickies. You should get your sword. And Tibble just frowns a little bit at it. And then keeps going to find Janice.
And not long before you run into him.
He's not quiet. He's very loud. He's swaggering. He's bounding along to make his way upstairs, up to the deck.
Janice, sorry to interrupt you. I'm sure you're on your way to something quite important.
Absolutely, I've got about 20
mighty hard on this
morning.
ship.
Yes?
Is there anything I can do to offload on you?
Oh, well, not really, no. I mean, I've got the crew for that, so you just keep being you, Captain. Your charming, winning smile is all we need.
Aye, but if you have too many duties, Janice, that you need time to relax too. And I know you got shore leave for that, but you've also got an exorbitant amount of kids that I cannot at all fathom, so...
Oh, yes, well, might be number 6 on the way soon. And he winks at Tibble.
If you need me to pick up duties...
spot.
I can do a bit more.
Oh, no, it's okay. Again, I've got shore leave soon, so it'll be fine. I get to see my wonderful Anna and all my lovely children. It'll be good.
What's on your list?
What's on my list?
What's next on your list?
I'll be, we've got to go and check to see the quality of the ship this morning. Let's see that I'm sure Fishman and the rest of the lookout crew have been doing a good job, but we've got to make sure that everything's in ship shape, as they say. So yes, probably that will be the first thing, and then I will. I got to check with all the deck crew this morning as well. Make sure they've got their tasks assigned. Of course, they got some this morning, but got to make sure that's all sorted. And that's the first two.
Well, scratch those two off. I'll get to doing those. I'm giving you an hour's break. Well, sort of. The only task I have for you is maybe some entertaining.
Oh, okay.
You've had a visitor. Well, 5 visitors. Here on a bit of family business.
Anna got here, but she doesn't like traveling. She doesn't like...
No.
The only thing with people
not
with magic, and she doesn't like magic. What are you talking about?
The big fellow with the wings, and he brings up his notebook and he flips. I forgot his name like 3 times as I was talking to him. I don't think he appreciated it. 𝘬𝘁𝘁 the Marked. And he's got some friends, 𝘬𝘭𝘭𝘪𝘤, 𝘬𝘭𝘭𝘪𝘤, and 𝘬𝘭𝘭𝘪𝘤.
He would know the first name, I imagine. Does he know the others? He goes very tall and still.
Probably not.
Okay. Friendly business, is it?
Aye, that's what he said. He wouldn't tell me much. He was a bit of a pushy lad, if I'm honest. Invited his friends onto the ship, well, without really asking me first. And was trying to boss me around too, on my own ship. But I guess, you can't help family, you know?
And he's very tall. He's a very big, beefy man, and he kind of just straightens up even more and just kind of just starts to spark a little bit. It's like, oh, I see.
He did say he was here on unfinished business, and, well, I did point out to him that any business is unfinished business until it's finished, in which case, what's the point of the business?
So Janus kind of cracks his shoulders like, I see. All right. Could you go get the others?
The others?
Yes, maybe make sure some of them, maybe even Eris would be good. Yes. On the deck, you say?
I've had them waiting in the war room. Thought it would be more comfortable for them there, and maybe a little less intimidating for the crew.
Of course. Well, I shall have to go greet them, if you don't excuse me. And he kind of goes to push past him. Yes.
Is everything all right, lad?
We shall see.
Do you need... I'll send for Neris.
Anyone would be good, but perhaps it would be good to have everyone. Take caution. We shall see if 𝘊𝘅𝑒 blesses their ceaseless endless tendrilled visage upon me.
Should I be worried, Janus? Should I get the lesser crew downstairs? Is this a me Aunt May's Christmas dinner of... I don't know what year it is in fantasy, whatever we are.
Perhaps it should be.
20 years ago.
Yeah.
Perhaps it will be. And Janus shoves past, steps over Tibble. And just kind of so he kind of just starts pounding down along the board. And unless anything happens, he will go and grab where his glaive is and then kind of round back and then head to the war room.
Tibble just says to himself, Kara was right. Better get me sword.
I will also notice he would never step over Tibble, but this is very out of character for him. He's completely checked out now.
He scutters to get his sword and everyone else.
Okay. So, do you wait for everyone else before going?
He kind of runs up to that doorway and then kind of looks around and sort of it just looks like if someone was watching him, he's sort of just bolstering himself, just breathing deeply. He's holding the glaive, and again, he's kind of crackling with electricity. And he sort of says something under his breath in this strange language, which I don't believe anyone would know. It's deep speech. And then he sort of looks around till he can hear movement of any crew members or anything moving along. Is no, trust this. They've got this. I trust them. And then he's going to open the door to the war room. Drawing himself up to his full height, crackling with electricity and energy.
Hombre.
Huh. I heard you were expecting a meeting.
Yes.
family business, my captain says.
For my family, yes.
Well, you shouldn't have boarded. These are not safe waters for you.
There are no safe waters for you, Stormbreaker.
That's the point. We're always swimming on the precipice of danger. And if you don't leave now, you will meet your end here. Your blood will be the one that will be spilled in the water tonight. Leave. And he starts to crackle with more lightning energy.
Are your friends coming?
They are.
And they will see you fall. They will see is not wise to mess 𝘬𝘁 the children of the abyss.
As he is saying that, the door swings open, and anyone who can't see over the table would not see her because she is 3 feet tall. But Kara, without saying anything, just starts putting like tea and like they would see like a platter go up, and there's like a teapot and 6 saucers, and then like a platter go up, and there's biscuits, and she pushes it forward, and then she just looks up at Janice, and she signs something that Janice does not understand.
And Janice kind of just like watches her do that and just like cannot comprehend that because he doesn't know sign language that well. He's been trying very hard. But he sort of just like looks at her. He's like, "Run, get out of here now." And then he's going to turn and he's going to very quickly, again in deep speech, say some kind of language. I don't imagine Kara knows what it is either. And his glaive turns into crackling electricity, this like literal bolt of lightning. And he's like, "Get out now!"
As you do that, we're not going to roll full initiative, but I'm going to do a contested initiative check between you and Rort.
Okay, cool. That's fine.
The ogre draped in chains.
Sure.
I will just say at Janice's instruction, Kara does leave. She can lip read, but she converses in
That's
sign.
fair. He looks angry as shit. That is a 12.
A 12. Can I get you to re-roll that as Zamanir raises a hand to warp time around you and Rort?
Okay, yeah. That's an 11.
That's just going to be a tie. So I think you do win that initiative. Bill.
Okay, cool. That's
You
great.
have the higher dex bonus compared to Rort.
I can't imagine Janice has seen magic like this before.
No.
He just looks bewildered for a moment, but he just like, all right, I stabby stab at my new friend, my old friend.
At
My
𝘬𝘁?
yes, 𝘬𝘁, absolutely. Obviously, bonus action, go into a rage. So even like above ship, there's like lightning kind of crackling around. Suddenly, there's a storm brewing, and lightning kind of like lances out all around him and from like beyond the war room, I guess. So bonus action rage. Cool. So that is a 26 to hit.
Okay. 26 certainly hits.
Cool, that's with my Wave Rider glaive. So again, it's like it's out of electricity. So it's a D10 plus 5. Okay, cool. So 7 plus 5. And then 4d6 lightning damage. So just a moment, sorry. Cool. So 2 5s, a 4, and a 2. Cool. So, and then an additional 16 points of lightning damage.
He doesn't seem to be as phased by this lightning as you would expect.
Cool.
He is affected by it, but not as much as you would expect. And then, I believe that, because that's bonus action and action for you.
Yeah.
So, Rort is going
Cool, I made a lot of noise, so it'll be fine.
Yeah. Rort is going to try to chain smash at you. As the chains fling out to smash into you. He's a barbarian as well. He's reckless attacking. So that is a 16.
That hits.
Yeah. So you take 13 points of bludgeoning damage, and I need you to make a Constitution saving throw for me.
Okay. Constitution saving throw. Alright, that's fine. I'm not too bad at that. So 15.
15. That is not enough, unfortunately. And you are, we'll say, for the benefit of this, you are mechanically unconscious. You are...
Okay.
Flavor-wise, you are kind of just woozy.
Okay. No props. Excellent. Sounds good.
Yes.
Woozy.
As this is probably the point where your fellow senior officers show up to see this sight of the chain kind of almost being the only thing holding you aloft at this point. As you don't have the strength in this moment to keep yourself aloft.
You'll do right well to unhand Janice immediately and get off my ship. You have outstayed your hospitality.
I can do one of those things with great haste. And
No, you will be
Cylon
doing
snaps
both.
his fingers, and he, his allies, and Janice disappear.
No one else in our party got that rewinding magic? No? Damn.
And that's where we're
Neris,
going to leave it.
lad, cover your ears. And Tibble yells out a litany of pirate swears, of sailor swears.
And that's where we're going to leave it for this week. Thank you for listening, folks.
See you later.
See you
Bye.
later.
Goodbye.
Keep on sailing.
Bye.
Will we be seeing you later, Laura?
We'll see.
We didn't see you fall.
That probably went the worst possible way. That's fine. See you next week, everyone. Maybe.
I can't believe Laura's going to have to bring in a backup character already. What the fuck?